Hello, I'm back. And frick. And today I'm starting a new unit on, as you can see right here, the Art of Googology. This is my new profile picture. It's called an Omega, but we don't talk about that in this video yet. So yeah, this is the title page, shadow. This is the exact same thing as my new profile picture, and yeah, so wait, no, sorry. So what Googology is it is the search for ever higher numbers. And so, as you can see, I'm drawing an infinity as that's our final goal here, to reach as close to infinity as possible, even though nothing, as you'll find out, is anywhere closer to infinity than anything else. But Googology, yeah, we're searching for higher numbers. It comes from the word Google, which is one followed by 100 zeros, and ology, obviously, which is the study of. So it's the study of large numbers. And yeah, so we start out with hyperoperators. I don't know why there's a space in that column there. Uh, hyperoperators are basically they're the increasing they're the increasing sorry, yeah, they're the infinitely increasing list of operators. So the first one, as it says here, succession, appears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's just counting up by one. This just means that it's count. N is going to be the nth term. So n is equal to 1 when you're on the first term, n is equal to 2 when you're in the second, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so on and so forth. So yeah, everything is just repeated succession. It's the slowest of all things that can, and it's it's yeah. So second hyperoperator, which is addition, as you guys all know, repeated succession. F of n is n minus 1 plus 5 would be 5, 10, 15, 20 because this is first one. So 1 minus 1 is 0 plus 5 is 5. Uh, I did this wrong. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to explain it to you. Yeah, of course, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 20, 30, 30, 40. Okay, next is multiplication. Multiplication, as you guys all know, repeated addition. You just add stuff. So f of n is 5n, which is 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. It's the same as this one. Uh, and so, yeah, that's what multiplication is. And that's all of the conventional hyperoperators. That's all three of them that we actually use in day-to-day life. Exponentiation, I call it exponentation, but it's exponentiation is the fourth hyperoperator. It is repeated at multiplication. The nth term is equal. So if the nth term is equal to n to the 5, which is then exponentiated to the 5, or n to the power of 5, it would equal 0, because that's the 0th term, because 0 to the power of 5 is... Okay, actually, it should be 1, I think. No, yeah, it should be 0. 0 to the power of 5 is 0, I believe. 1 to the power of 5 is 1. 2 to the power of 5 is 32. 3 to the power of 5 is 243. 4 to the power of 5 is 1024. 5 to the power of 5 is 3125. So what exponentiation does is you multiply something by itself this amount of times. This is called a power, this number up here, this superscript. You multiply something by itself that many times. So now that we have all this out of the way, you guys all know this. This is all known stuff. Now we get into the fun stuff. Okay. Exponentiation grows very fast, as you can see here. It multiplies by 32, then about 8, then about 4, then about 3. It will eventually start decreasing more and more. But the faster you grow, and the more you grow, the more you grow. So how I would explain exponentiation to somebody who didn't know about it at all is the faster you grow, the faster the rate at which you grow grows. It's kind of weird. So uh, exponentiation goes explosively fast, not really fast enough to make it to actual Googology. This is not going to make it to like actual big numbers, as you'll see later. Uh, we need something faster, obviously. As you've seen on my Revolution Idol videos, I'm hitting like 1E 7E11 or something like that on my beginning videos, not the new ones. So we need to go higher. We nearly never use tetration. Tetration is almost never used. So fifth hyperoperator is the last official notation. Yeah, no, there's no notation for the ones after it that doesn't just repeat itself over and over again. Tetration is repeated exponentiation. It's written like this with a superscript behind instead of in front. So an example of the function of n is n tetrated to the 5. F of n, if n equals 1, then it would be 1. That's true for every single hyperoperator after addition. If n equals 2, then it's 2 followed by 19,728 zeros, which is quite a big number. Well, not really, but a big number in most cases, in actually every single case except for Googology. Uh, yeah, so it's pretty freaking big. I mean, there's not many numbers. I mean, there's an infinite amount of numbers bigger than it, but there's not that many numbers that you can compare it to in the real world. Like in the real world, so in the real world, the amount of atoms in the universe take about 19,660 zeros off of this. Six, yeah, so it's close enough. It's close enough to being far away that you can just call it infinitely far away, because this is just so much astronomically higher than every other use of anything in the universe. So it's not needed whatsoever, but we have it anyways. So yeah, it's 2 followed by 19,278 zeros. It's a very big number. And 3 tetrated to the 5 is a number that is non-calculable. I would have offered 5 examples, but it's non-calculable. So yeah, it's 2 to the power of 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 2. It's exponentiated to itself 5 times in the case that it's n tetrated to the 5. This simplifies to the 65,536th power, which is so astronomically high that it has this many digits. It has 19,729 digits, including the 2. So yeah, it's a very, very high number. Uh, but so you would think that this is like how far we need to be. It's like this is the highest that we would ever need. No, it's nowhere near it. So yeah, it's is Google is 19,628 zeros less than this, an astronomically large amount. Our search should be over, but it isn't because the numbers are weird. Uh, yeah. So we're nowhere near any sort of large number. So we need to learn how to notate this because we don't know how to notate it yet. A good question of how to notate it is that's actually a very good question. And if it were not for the Googologists of the past, we would not be able to do any of this. So hexation is a superior tetration, septation is superior to hexation, octation is superior to septation, nonation is superior to octation, decation, and it goes on in the prefix that I have listed before. The prefix set that I've listed before. So we need to cram these astronomically long numbers that have such a large amount of numbers, so that is so large that it completely dwarfs the amount of atoms in the universe. Uh, so Nuth's it might be pronounced Knuth, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to pronounce it Nuth. Up arrows. Actually, no, I'm going to pronounce it Knuth. Knuth's up arrows, which I'll be referring to as up arrows because for the sake of simplicity, I'm using a caret in this situation. However, there's a line right here that points out that is an up arrow. But so yeah, this is 3 to the power of 3, which is 9. No, it's 27. Yeah, so this is 27. It represents a hyperoperator above multiplication. So this is exponentiation. 2 would be tetration, quadration, quintation, sextation, septation, octation, nonation, dissation. 1 up arrow is exponentation, 2 is tetration, so on and so forth. So yeah, this is an astronomically large number, but it simplifies to this. Yeah, it's really, really small. Uh, however, eventually the amount of up arrows, the length of the amount of up arrows that we can use, it will just not be enough. We will need larger numbers. So we need power towers. I've not yet finished this slide. I will work on it. But power towers basically are when you have a number, like let's say 7, and then it's powered to the 7, which is powered to the 7, and then that 7 is powered to this 7, and then this 7 is powered to this 7. So say it's like 7 to the power of 7 to the power of 7 to the power of 7. That's a power tower of 7s, 4 units tall. And so what that means is 7 to the 7 is already quite a large number. 7 to the 7 to the 7 is 7 times itself 7 to the 7th times, and then 7 to the 7 to the 7, 7 to the 7 to the 7 to the 7 is 7 to the 7, 7 to the 7th times. So yeah, it's very strong, but it's not strong enough. So we're going to reach into bigger numbers. Let me actually. How long has it been? It's only been 12 minutes. Okay, we're going to need to go on a bit longer because I don't want you guys to waste your time. So, what we have to get to next. So, what this is currently the largest number we've hit. Now, of course, if you wanted to, I'm going to start actually editing now. Oopsies. If you wanted to, of course, there's always the argument that you could do this 2 to the power of 6 of 6536 plus 1. This is a number that is larger than this by 1. So, but then you could say, oh, I can think of a bigger number plus another one. And then we just go into that endless cycle of succession, and we don't want that. So, what we can do to prevent that, actually, no, that'll be later. So, power towers. So, the first number that I can think of that uses power towers is Graham's number. And so, what Graham's number is so basically, imagine. Actually, no, I'm going to bring one up. Imagine a cube. Imagine you have a cube. Imagine this is a cube, not a rectangle. So you have a cube, and you draw a line from every vertex, every angle to every other vertex. And so you would have so you would have 6 vertexes. Oh, wait, no, you would have 8 vertexes per vertex. So that'd be 64 vertexes, I believe. Discluding these 4, 8, 12, that is 52. That is 52 total vertexes. And now color them all a specific color. Color them each randomly one out of 2 colors. Doesn't matter which 2 colors. Let's say for the sake of this, let's do pink, and red. So we have two types of colors, pink and red. And so each color is either pink or red. There is no other kind of color. So the Graham's number is basically found. So how many dimensions would this cube need to exist in to have three lines of the same color uh, intersect with each other? And so what it means by dimensions is if it's a fourth dimensional cube, you power it to itself. I believe that's how it worked. So you power it to itself. This was made, of course, by Graham. Graham. So the minimum number, I believe, was 6 and still is 6 because you cannot get three lines to cross out one vertex uh, until 6 dimensions. And the max was Graham's number. So, what exactly is Graham's number? Graham's number. So imagine 3 and then 4 up arrows, I believe it was, and then another 3. As you might have guessed, considering that 2 to the 5th, with only 2 up arrows, is astronomically large. If you double the amount of up arrows, you're going to do a lot more than simply double the amount of number. So this number is so astronomically long that do you want to know how long the power tower of this would be? If you turn this into a power tower of and say you simplified it down 3 up arrows, you moved it all the way, it would reach to approximately the average distance to Venus in size 11 font. I presume it's size 11 font. So yeah, it would reach to Venus. And so let's label this number G1. This number is G1. So it's an astronomically high number. So we need to find G2, or Graham 2, I believe. And so what Graham 2 has, it's 3, and then it has a certain amount of up arrows, and then another 3. It's all about 3s in Graham's number. So you may be wondering, how many up arrows are in G2? Well, so how you find the amount of up arrows in G2 is you take the number that is G1, the entire number of G1, and that is the amount of up arrows in G2. And so you can tell it's an astronomically high number because it has this many. It has a power tower of Venuses. It has a power tower of Venus. It has a power tower of Venuses. A power tower of Venuses, power tower of Venuses. So basically, it's a power tower to Venus stacked on itself, a power tower of Venus times. Yeah, it's a pretty big number. And so you might be saying, well, that's Graham's number. It's pretty big. That's G2. G3 is 3 and then a certain amount of up arrows, 3, and that has G2 amount of up arrows. G4 has G3 amount of up arrows, G5 has G4 amount of up arrows, so on and so forth. Do you want to know where Graham's number ends up? Graham's number is G64. It has G63 amount of up arrows, which has G62, which has G61, which has G60, which has G59, which has G58, and so on and so forth. That's a G1. It's, at that time, by far the largest number to exist. It's still an extremely large number. It's like middling of modern Googology, which is incredibly strong. But yeah, so G64 is Graham's number, and that's like middling Googology. That's not actually that high of a number in Googology. It's higher. It's a higher number than any of us have ever or will ever use in a practical sense, because you could not write the amount of digits in the amount of digits, 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 50 times in the amount of digits, in the amount of digits, in the amount of digits, and repeat that in the amount of digits 50 times on every single quark in this universe, you could not write the digits in 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 the digits of Graham's number. You couldn't even get close, actually. It's such an astronomically high number that there's just nothing that can compare to it. And this is the first case of us using geometry. Geometry is very important in Googology. We will talk about it later when we hit uh, trees, but we have not yet hit trees because we're nowhere near there yet. But yeah, so that's my first lesson on Googology. Hope you have enjoyed uh, Professor Google's yap. Yes, I'm not Professor Google. I'm very intelligent. I'm actually not. I'm not intelligent at all. So, yeah, that is our lesson for today. I will be back with you for another lesson tomorrow. Bye.